Week 2's in the books. We
Yes,
got most
indeed.
of our teams are wrapped up their first game in region play besides Westbrook, and we had an interesting one go down between Southside and Sardis.
Yeah, it's looks like it was. Want to welcome everybody in tonight, and thanks for staying up late with us. I'm Kevin Taylor. This is Teddy Couch, and we're just going to kind of run down and give you a look at some of the games that happened in Etowah County and outside of Etowah County. Yeah, a big game. Sardis ended up holding on to beat Southside 33-31 on a missed field goal.
Yeah, it was a 19-yarder by Nolan Johnson. Everybody knows how big of a leg he has. I mean, if I'd have been there, I would have thought that was definitely going in. If I heard it was a pretty rough angle for him, but
Yeah, because didn't
wow.
he hit a 50-yard field goal earlier this season?
Yeah, I want to say he did, and I think he missed a 51-yarder that same game that was blocked. But we know the kid's got the leg.
Wow.
It's just, man, what a game.
Yeah.
Sardis pulling out a huge region win right there against Southside.
Yep. Everybody now starts jockeying for position into the playoffs. I know it's really early. I mean, we're done with week 2, but we're already starting to talk about the playoffs because some of these games tonight really had major implications in terms of getting people set for whether they may go on the road or they may be at home that first round of the playoffs, or they may be playing basketball a little bit sooner than they thought too.
And just to be, completely honest, last year when Sardis lost that one to Southside, I mean, I really think that one was just a huge loss for the
Yeah.
Lions, and I think that was a big reason why they weren't able to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's just hard to kind of catch up after that one. Is it going to be the opposite this year, where the Panthers have a tough time rebounding from that
Yeah.
one? Obviously, we'll have to wait and see, but huge win for Sardis, especially coming off that Sylvania loss, and those Sardis Lions are letting me have it on Twitter tonight.
You just never know though, because I mean, you look at last year and we saw Southside, and they lose to Helena in week 5, and we're thinking, oh my God, they're just they're done. And the next thing you know, they just went out the remainder of the season and they go deep in the playoffs.
Wow.
Sardis can do the same thing. This was a huge bounce back win for them, especially losing to Sylvania last week. Because I mean, let's be honest, I saw that game. Sylvania was probably not a very good football team. They were average at best. And there were a number of times that Sardis kept shooting themselves in the foot, and it cost them.
Mm.
So this is a big win. This is something that they can build on going forward. So
well, they needed it because next week, obviously we're looking ahead a little bit already,
Yeah.
but they were going to be hosting Etowah.
Yeah.
That's going to be a toughie.
Yeah.
Coming off that big win against Southside, but they got to move on quick.
Yeah.
Because
They really do.
You can't live off that one too
Mhm.
long. You got to get ready for the Blue Devils, who are looking very good. 49-7 win over Crossville tonight for the Blue Devils. Crossville had like 11 yards at halftime. It was. I was there. It was.
Did they already start warming up the bus at halftime?
It was a rough one. It was. Etowah was in firm control of that one. Even Coach John Holliday and quarterback Brady Troop, neither one were extremely satisfied afterwards. Felt they started a little slow, and they had some. It was a little sloppy at times, but
Yeah.
there was never a moment of concern if you were a Blue Devils fan.
Yeah.
Etowah took care of business.
There were a number of games just in our coverage area that were decided soon and quite with quite a resounding outcome. Boaz over Douglas tonight, 72-0. Ramburn over Gadsden, 54-0. Randolph County over Glencoe, 27-0. Fife over Section, 49-0. Westbrook over Vincent, 35-0. Piedmont over Pleasant Valley, 28-0. There were some games out there that just they were done before they even got started. But then you had a few games that were pretty sporty. I mean, Cleveland beats West End 65-44. Cedar Bluff over Asbury 49-6. Sandrock goes into overtime to beat Ida 20-14. Anniston over Cherokee County 27-7. Watch out for Anniston. That is a dangerous football team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it now. watch out for Anniston. So Fort Payne holds off Albertville 20-13. Fort Payne, their kicker tonight, before the half, kicks a 57-yard field goal. And folks, if you haven't seen it, you can go to my Twitter handle for sure because I shared it with everybody. This kid could have kicked it from 62. I mean, he put a whale of a leg into it. He's a soccer player, and he's a keeper for Fort Payne, but obviously he's got a whale of a leg. So it's amazing. We've got so many kids just in this area. They've got really good legs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got the kid from Southside. You got the kid at Fort Payne. You've got the kid at Collinsville. You know, we've got some really good kickers, which, you
Gadsden
know,
City's got Daniel Sparks. He's got a leg on him as well.
he's got a leg. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's you know, maybe it's the year of the kicker this year. I don't know.
We got a few chiming in. Jeremy says, "Go Southside Panthers." Another disappointing loss tonight. Greg says, "Go Gunnersville." They were slinging it all over the field. Daniel's already. He's a big Etowah fan. He's already getting the Southside talk started. Even though that game's 2 weeks from now, he said Southside will be. They're staring at 0-4 in the face with Etowah up in 2 weeks.
Daniel, are you overlooking Sardis?
So
just saying.
Patrick, we'll probably get to that here in a bit, but he wants us to talk about the best game of next week. Well, that is Fife versus Collinsville, and that one is going to be a fun one.
That will be a whale of a football game. I will have to admit that.
Daniel says someone needs to get Saban on the phone about the kid from Fort Payne.
Yep, be a good idea. I'll say that. I'll just leave it at that. A few other scores tonight. Sparkman beat Gadsden City 51-27. R.A. Hubbard held off Coosa Christian 29-20. Collinsville tonight over North Sand Mountain 54-28, a game that I saw live tonight. And then Hoax Bluff over White Plains 45-21. Another big game around the state, and I'm sure you probably have already heard. Number 1 in 7A, Hoover loses to number 4 Thompson 48-30. So you're going to have a new number 1 in Class 7A. There weren't any other real big upsets, but that was definitely a biggie in the state. You know, and then like I said, you know, let's go ahead and talk about it. Collinsville and Fife, that very likely will be for the region championship next week in Fife. Collinsville, their quarterback, Caleb Jones, he accounted for 7 of their 8 touchdowns tonight. He rushed for 5 and passed for 2. And then on the defensive side of the ball, he came up with an interception with less than 2 minutes to play to seal the game and just put it all on ice. So, you know, Collinsville, they've got 4 All-State players returning from last year. They went to the second round last year, and I think they're really hungry this year to go beyond, take that next step. You know, I asked Collinsville's coach, I said, you know, how do you avoid a letdown from tonight's win over North Sand Mountain? Because they really thought that this was going to be a dogfight. And he just laughed. He laughed at me. He said, there's not going to be any letdown. We're going to be ready for Fife. So they're already locked in. And the kids, matter of fact, on the sideline with about, I would have to say about 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, they were already talking about Fife and being ready to play. So next week, Collinsville goes to Fife. Fife, number 1 in 2A. They easily win over Section tonight, 49-0. But this could be a tremendous ball game. You know, Jones can run the ball. He's got another kid that can run the ball. So, and they can throw the ball. And there were some pretty nifty plays that Ernie Willingham pulled out of his pocket tonight that was pretty special. So, and not to mention, there again, Collinsville has a kicker. I mean, this kid, I think he hit a 45-yard field goal last week alone. So, and he is good from 50 in. So, Yeah. We'll see.
Mark pointed out that Collinsville is celebrating their 100 years of football.
Yes.
What a way
Yes,
to,
they are.
What a way to really kind of celebrate that by beating Fife if they could do that next week.
Boy, if they do.
But people are going to be. Well, let's be honest. Most people are going to be picking Fife because
Fife is Fife.
Fife is Fife. I mean, they're the top dog in 2A. They have been, and they will be until somebody knocks them off.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of turns out.
Yeah.
Gadsden City tonight. A tough one against Sparkman to open region play. What was the final? Was it
51-27?
At one point, Gadsden City was up
21-20, right?
I want to say around halftime, or it might have been at halftime, and Gadsden City just not able to hold on. Wow. Impressive seeing Gadsden City kind of fight though, but it's just
hang tough. Yeah.
It gets tough, even more tough for Gadsden City from here. I mean, they got to go to Austin, and then they'll have Bob Jones coming to town the week after. It's just, it's just going to be interesting to see how Gadsden City continues to respond.
Austin is ranked number 9 in 7A, and they beat Florence tonight. Austin's now 3-0 on the season. They beat Florence tonight 30-25. So, like I said, it doesn't get any easier for Gadsden City. And the one thing that resonates with me that Ollie Smith told me the other day is that we've got to be able to play 4 quarters. Obviously, they played 2 really good quarters, but then you've got to play a complete game to have a chance to win. And obviously, it seems like the wheels kind of fell off there in the second half.
Yeah, Gadsden City's region is, they cross with Region 3, which is that Hoover and Thompson region. And that's,
that's a toughie.
That's the best region in the state.
Mm-hmm.
But, Gadsden City's region is definitely not as strong as that one, but it's not as weak as it has been in years past, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
You got your Sparkman. I mean, let's be honest. That was a game Gadsden City wins running away easily. A few years back. Yeah. And there's a lot of teams like that. And now it's not as easy as a game anymore.
Yeah. I mean, Huntsville is coming on. All the teams really in that region are starting to improve. So there are no more gimmies anymore.
Patrick's going back a little, which I think he commented this when we were talking about it and I missed it. But Patrick is going with Collinsville by 4. He said he never picks against Fife, but he's going to go with Collinsville by 4.
That's a solid pick. I mean, it's going to take me a little while to kind of digest this game because, to be quite honest, right now it's a coin flip as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen Fife, but I have seen Collinsville, and I've seen them practice. I've seen them play now. They played against a very good North Sand Mountain team. I mean, that score is no indication of how good North Sand Mountain really is. They're going to be in the playoffs. So,
See, and it's this mindset right here, and I'm not saying Zach's wrong because, just to be completely honest, I'm leaning towards what Zach's saying. No chance Fife loses to Collinsville. And,
there's every chance in the world.
When you win so much, it's hard to pick against your Alabama or your Clemsons, or I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And, I guess people don't think that's crazy comparing Fife to an Alabama, but in Class 2A, they absolutely are an Alabama or a Clemson.
Yeah. I mean, Ernie Willingham, who's the coach at Collinsville, he calls Region 8 the SEC West of 2A football, which, to be quite honest, he's pretty accurate with that. And because you've got that big dog like Fife that everybody keeps wanting to chip away at, and try to knock off the top of the mountain. And I could honestly see Collinsville come away with this because I don't know how well Fife's secondary will be able to match up with some of the kids that Collinsville has. Plus the sheer fact that Caleb Jones is a dual threat quarterback. He can run it and he can throw it. So we'll see.
Justin says he would not sleep on Collinsville, kind of echoing off what you're saying. And Zach's got Fife by 14, so 14 and a half is what he's got them favored.
Okay.
And I
we'll
get
see
that.
We'll see what the boys in Vegas say. How about that?
You know how this show is. We kind of go everywhere. Patrick, he says, I know we're only week 3, but if you had to pick a Mr. Etowah County football right now, who would be your front runners?
Ooh. Meads. Right now, there's nobody else in this county who is as good as Meads right now. Somebody's got to show me a player better than he is. That's not to say that Trent Davis, Nana Davis, Brady Troop, all those kids over at Etowah aren't good. They are.
Yeah.
They're special in their own right. But when you've got a guy who has the opportunity to end up finishing in the top 5 in the state career-wise for rushing, and plus what he rolled off 200 and some odd yards tonight.
Yeah, I think it was like
And that's
221.
probably an off night for him.
I mean, it is pretty crazy. And the thing with Hoax Bluff too, Hoax Bluff has a lot of playmakers. Obviously, Ashton Gullich gets overlooked so much, and that kid runs the ball just as hard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, good luck tackling him as well.
He does.
But with Etowah, they got Nana, they got Trent Davis, and obviously Brady throwing in Dolly Finch or just whoever else they got out there. Hoax Bluff, there's no secret. 6 is getting the ball about 20, 30 times a game.
Yeah.
Good luck stopping them.
Well, that's it. I mean, you're gonna keep feeding him the rock until somebody can stop him. But right now, nobody's been able to stop him.
Right.
I mean, okay, last week he runs for 197 yards. Oh, he's had a bad night. Okay, well,
Daniel says, "Give me Trent Davis any day of the week." I mean, if Trent Davis is my running back, I'm not complaining whatsoever.
No, I'm not complaining either. I mean, they all have their specialties. Trent is really good coming out of the backfield. He's got good hands. He's got a great burst of speed. When he hits that hole, he hits it hard and he hits it fast. Now on the flip side, if you look at Meads at Hoax Bluff, he doesn't have quite that burst at the hole. But let me tell you, if there's a linebacker who's standing in his way, he's just going to run him over and won't think twice about
it. Patrick with an interesting point, something that we've actually talked about a good bit. Do you believe Dartavis Britton gets overlooked because he's at Coosa? Not talking bad about Coosa, he said, because he goes about at least 3 games a year over there. But do you think he would get more attention at a bigger school?
Yeah, absolutely he would. I mean, pound for pound, what is he, 5'5"? He plays like he's 6'6". I mean, this kid plays with a motor like nobody else. He plays, it goes back to some of the basketball coaches, some of my friends. So, I've got a guy who may be 5'7", but he plays like he's 6'8". That's Dartavius Britton.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. This kid is 5 whatever, but he plays like he's 6'8".
Yeah, and not just running the ball, man, on defense. He's smacking folks under twice his size.
He has no fear. He plays with no fear, and that's a kind of a player that as a coach you want to have, but as a teammate, you want somebody like that. Mm-hmm. You want somebody who is going to play with no fear, because then you see that. And you're like, I can play just as well as that. And so the level starts to rise.
Yeah, Patrick says, sorry about all the questions. Just excited about high school football.
No, hopefully, Patrick, we welcome them.
That's what I love about doing this, honestly, is getting to interact with folks and talking to you guys. So, we welcome that anytime. Yeah. Zach was a great point I was actually about to bring up. Saw where Coosa kept it close against Ari Hubbard. That's a win.
Yeah.
I would have never, no disrespect to Coosa, they just struggled out of the gate so far. I did not think that they'd be able to keep it that close.
I didn't think so either. I mean, I'll admit, I really thought that R.A. Hubbard was going to put 70 plus up on Coosa tonight.
Yeah, respect.
Having not seen them, but I just know R.A. Hubbard and what they're capable of doing. So obviously, Coosa really dusted themselves off after these last 2 losses and really took it to them. So, big hats off to Coosa. I mean, you didn't quit. You lose 29-20. Football coaches and any coach themselves would say, those mental wins, if you will, those don't mean anything because they're not wins on a piece of paper in the win column. Mm-hmm. So, but still, that yeah, maybe that is one. So, next week we got a lot of great games. As we said, Gadsden City goes to Austin. Etowah is at Sardis. Gaston goes to Sylvania. BB Comer's at Glencoe. West End goes to Westbrook Christian. Hoax Bluff goes to Aniana. Albertville's at home against Buckhorn. Randolph County goes to Piedmont. Wow, that's a biggie.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, was that not the state semifinal game last year?
I think it's been the last 2 years.
Yeah. So that's a huge, huge region game there. Boaz at Alexandria. That could be interesting.
Mm.
That really could be interesting because
we're going to see if Boaz is still for real in that region. Just to be completely honest with you, they beat Douglas tonight. But we're going to see next week just how legit they are because I've said that the last few weeks, but heading into this season, I thought for those 4 playoff spots in 5A Region 6, it was between 5 teams, and I thought Boaz is it's early, but they're kind of starting to take themselves out of that race.
Yeah.
If they can beat Alexandria, they're right back in it. They're sitting pretty 2-0. Those 2 losses at the beginning of the season don't matter anymore.
Cherokee County goes to Jacksonville. Sandrock goes to Cedar Bluff, and then of course the biggie in 2A, Collinsville goes to Fife. It's too close to call, folks. It really is. That Collinsville Fife right now, I will say, is a coin flip. And until somebody proves me wrong, I'm going to stay with it right now. And I'm going to reserve my right to pick that game because it's really too close to call.
If I had to pick right now, I'm going with Fife. They've been there, done that.
Yeah.
That's not to say Collinsville can't get it.
Yeah.
For sure. I want to look more into it before I make a pick on our guest experts this week, for sure. But before we kind of move on, Westbrook with another big win tonight.
Yeah.
They're
35-0.
Their schedule has not been the toughest, but they're taking care of business when they're supposed to. So,
right. And then of course, they got West End and West End.
Kind of staying where they've been here lately.
They're throwing up 40 some odd points a game now here the last couple weeks. Eli Pierce, their quarterback, accounted for 7 touchdowns last week.
Yeah.
If you got a quarterback who accounts for that many touchdowns, you should be winning, right? Well, no, unfortunately not. And then, who knows tonight, 65-44.
Defense continues to be a problem for the Patriots.
Yeah. 109 points in a game. Wow.
Had somebody comment earlier, Delp has 500 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns in 3 games for Coosa, and somebody else chimed in and said Delp could be an SEC guy if he was at a bigger school.
I would have to agree with that. He has the body, he has the hands, he has the quickness. If he was at Gadsden City, he would be without a doubt probably their number 1 receiver. He is a tremendous athlete, and he's just a junior.
he's a quarterback's a dream, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt.
I know Trevor Horn's his first year starting. What a in terms of having to come
Merry
in and get a throw to that guy. My goodness.
Yeah.
Gadsden, tough loss tonight to start region play for them. And so I have to, with Glencoe, I know they got shut out. I really thought Randolph County could have put a little bit more on them. I don't really know exactly what happened in that game, and I know Coach Brian Allred's not going to be happy with a 27-0 loss.
Well, I think last year, if I remember right, because I covered that game, Randolph County and Glencoe, it was about this same kind of score last year. So
it's just getting that offense rolling for the Yellow Jackets has been a problem, and they're still trying to catch their foot in there.
Yeah. Some of the other scores just around the state that I'm looking at. One that was a bit of surprise to me is staying in 7A. Auburn is now 1-2. They lost to Enterprise 44-0 tonight. That's a big loss for them. I haven't seen what Central did with Smith Station, but I will probably bet you dollars to donuts that Central Phoenix City beat Smith Station tonight. In terms of movement, There probably won't be much movement in the state polls this year, or at least not this year, but this week, because there really weren't that many, I guess you would say, upsets in the state poll. Briarwood 0-2. They lost to number 9 Pleasant Grove 26-14. That's a bit of a surprise there. But then, of course, you look at Class 4A, UMS Wright. They take care of business. They knock off number 6 Andalusia 21-7. Oaks Bluff. They take care of business. Beat White Plains. So, and then you got Catholic at 4. They win. Hillcrest at 5. They win. So, I mean, top 5 Class 4A will remain the same without a doubt. Same thing in 3A. I think you and we talked about this before we even went out, was that some of these region openers weren't really that strong.
Yeah, it was.
And I think the scores indicate that.
Right. And a lot of people took care of business that was supposed to.
Yeah.
Somebody chimed in and said Jacob Hopper is really good too, and he is.
He really
Jacob
is.
Hopper and Jay
going
Owens.
to South Alabama. He's going. He signed or has committed to a Division I school because of his size, his ability. So he's definitely earned it.
Yeah, Jay Owens is probably pretty excited to be able to throw the ball to Jacob Hopper.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The big one tonight, Southside fell to Sardis 33-31. Had a chance to make a 19-yard field goal, and they missed it. I've been catching a lot of heat on Twitter from actually Jacob Hopper and Jay Owens both, letting me know that, hey, I picked that one wrong.
Oh.
So you guys, I was wrong.
I was wrong. That one was so close that I quite honestly said I'm going to give the home team the nod. There wasn't any other thought process into it, because having seen Sardis play last week, and believe me, like I said, they didn't impress me very much because they had so many opportunities where they kept shooting themselves in the foot. But I'd already seen Southside as well, so it was kind of a coin flip. So I went with the home team. Should not have.
Can't win them all, huh?
No, we're going. You and I are both going to go 14-1 for the week.
That's not too bad.
No, not bad at all. I wish I could go 14-1 just in my NFL picks.
Oh, so that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that is. Folks, we appreciate you staying tuned and joining us. Thank you to everybody who chimed in, asked questions. We appreciate
so much fun.
Every one of you guys,
it's
because it's always fun to talk high school football. We'll be back next Friday, usually around 10:30 or so. It might be a little bit later depending upon where we are. But then also be sure to go to the GadsdenTimes.com. Check out all the game stories that'll be online, and also the photo galleries. And we'll have plenty of other things that'll be online as the week progresses. The prep poll, how they fared, all that good kind of stuff. And then we'll also start to preview big games like Collinsville at Fife, like West End at Westbrook Christian, and then of course Etowah at Sardis. I mean, those are big region games that'll be coming up.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Week 2's in the books. Week 3 is next.
Sure is. And like I said, everybody's jockeying for playoff position. It started tonight. Next week, I'm telling you right now, whoever wins between Collinsville and Fife, they will be the Region 8 winner, without a doubt.
It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Folks, our time is out. We thank you for yours. Have a good night.